Matthew 7:15-16. ESV. Beware of false prophets who come to you in sheep's clothing but inwardly are ravenous wolves. You will recognize them by their fruits. Are grapes gathered from thorn bushes or figs from thistles? Today, we're looking at one of the most controversial aspects of Islam, the mistreatment of women. From Muhammad's marriage to a child, to modern-day morality police beating women in the streets, the echoes of 7th century practices are still being felt around the world. Let us begin with the marriage of Muhammad and Aisha. According to Sahih al-Bukhari 5133 and 5134, Aisha herself wrote, "The Prophet married me when I was 6 years old and consummated the marriage when I was 9. Even the Qur'an provides the legal justification for this. Surah 65:4 discusses the waiting period for divorced women, including those who have not yet menstruated. The classical scholars interpreted this as prepubescent girls. This is not ancient times. Child marriage is still practiced today in Islamic countries. Young girls are still being wedded in Yemen, Iran, and Nigeria, and their case is indicative of what Aisha endured. Read book I Am Nujud, age 10 and divorced. Nujud Ali married at the age of 10. She writes about how her childhood was stolen, how she was beaten, and how she finally mustered the courage to demand a divorce in court. The 2016 documentary Sanita proves the same. Sanita Alizadeh is an Afghan girl who lives in Iran. She is being forced into child marriage. She lashes out through music, writing rap songs regarding the custom. Her story proves that this is not just history, it is happening today. A further reference is in Surah 4:24, which permits sex with those whom your right hands possess, a phrase used for women taken in war. Classical tafsir explains, these were war spoils, concubines. And once again, this is not ancient history. ISIS also revived this very same practice. They used the very same verses to justify why they kidnapped and raped Yazidi women. Nadia Murad, in her book The Last Girl, My Story of Captivity and My Fight Against the Islamic State, chronicles how her village was invaded, the men were slaughtered, and she and hundreds of other women were purchased into sexual servitude. She was raped, assaulted, and transferred from fighter to fighter, all under the banner of religious pretext. Her story is reflected in thousands of others. The documentary Escaping ISIS, PBS Frontline, introduces in their own words women who were enslaved, beaten, and trafficked, all by extremists who quoted Islamic scripture. Muhammad's teachings about women. Muhammad himself is quoted as saying women are deficient in intelligence and religion. Sahih al-Bukhari 304. The Quran in Surah 2:282 even states a woman's testimony in court is half that of a man. Surah 4:34 goes on, if you fear rebellion from your wives, admonish them, forsake them in bed, and beat them. When abused women came to Muhammad with complaints, Aisha herself remarked, I have not seen any woman enduring as much as the believing women. Their clothes are greener than their skin. Muhammad sided with the husbands. Sahih al-Bukhari 58:25, 58:26. This is the soil in which centuries of injustice and inequality have grown. Fast forward to today. In countries such as Iran, Malaysia, and Indonesia, morality police patrol enforcing strict codes on women, what they can wear, whether they can travel or shop alone, even whether they can drive or vote. Iran was where the case shocked the world. Mahsa Amini, taken in by the morality police for supposedly having her hijab in the wrong place. She was beaten and murdered in custody in 2022. There were mass protests. Woman, Life, Freedom, edited by Margin Satrapi, covers these accounts. Women pushing back, fighting jail time or death, just to have the right to live without interference. Zara Garamani's autobiography, My Life as a Traitor, uncovers how young Iranian women are imprisoned, tortured, and incarcerated for simply speaking out or alleged moral crime offenses. And through parties Mahdavi's passionate uprisings, we discover that Iranian youth are lashed and sent to prison for dadding, dancing, or simply conversing with the opposite sex. This has even been dramatized on screen. The 1991 movie Not Without My Daughter, based on Betty Mahmoudi's true life story, shows how a single American woman was held in captivity in Iran by tyrannical laws denying her even the right to leave. The Stoning of Surah M., 2008, more recently fictionalizes the actual case of a woman accused of adultery, having sex outside of marriage, brutally executed by stoning by Islamic law. Woman abuse in Islam isn't something up for debate, it's embedded in scripture, carried out by Muhammad himself, and codified in Islamic law. From Aisha's child marriage, to the institution of concubines, to hadiths asserting women are less intelligent and of lower value, these lessons are being employed to justify abuse today. And here finally are the fruits. Yemeni bride children, ISIS sex slaves, battered women in Iranian morality police custody, and tens of thousands of muted voices worldwide. Having read I Am Nujud, The Last Girl, Woman, Life, Freedom, My Life as a Traitor and Passionate Uprisings, and having seen Sunita escaping ISIS, Not Without My Daughter and the Stoning of Surah M., is screaming from the inside out. They show us women's lived experience, suffocating under the weight of culture and scripture. If we can imagine an equal, dignified future for women, we cannot ignore the pillars of that oppression. We can't avoid confronting it head-on, hearing from victims and doing better.